Hey everybody, welcome back to College of Lore's Dungeons and Dragons 5e Curse of Strahd actual playthrough,
Yeah,
walkthrough,
we've
speedrun.
done 4 of these in about 4 hours.
This is the fourth one. This is the fourth one we're doing in about 4 hours. We haven't done four already.
Yeah,
But
welcome.
we're kind of batch doing this.
Yeah,
So everything that you guys have seen over the past couple of weeks, we've already recorded a while ago.
this is our playthrough of College of Lore, or Curse of
Yeah,
Strahd.
this is our playthrough of College of Lore. Did you guys know we have a video game? Speedrun.
We have a tabletop RPG.
Curse of Strahd speedrun. God, I cannot speak at all. Speedrun.
Curse of Speed.
Curse of Speed. Alright, yeah, so last we left off, we did an entire session that was just people having conversations with each other. I have terrible news for all of you who don't like characters having conversations with each other. Well, actually, I have good news. No one is having conversations with each other in this one. However, they are going to have character moments, so if you're not into that, well, if you're not into that, I don't know why you're still watching this channel.
Yeah.
We're very roleplay heavy.
A lot of this is roleplay.
I like making every player character that I get handed suffer.
We had a really cool combat 2 sessions ago.
We had a really cool combat that lasted like 2 rounds, 2 sessions ago.
Like, if you want to just jump around and look at the game for its combat,
Ow.
don't.
I hurt my finger, guys. Just so everyone recording this knows, I just hurt my finger. I want everyone to be aware of the fact that I'm gonna suffer throughout this whole session because my finger hurts so bad. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this episode. Yay!
Alright.
So, you guys are going to the Amber Temple. You're going to the Amber Temple, which is very exciting. There's crazy cool stuff up there. You are walking through a whole lot of snow. As you walk, you're pretty sure you can get up to the approximate area of it by tonight if you push yourselves. By like evening today, and maybe explore it, which would be nice. As you walk, you kind of continue up this path. The snow gets thick. The snow has been kind of thick and thin, but never none. It's been pretty non-stop, just kind of different levels of intensity. It got borderline blizzard while you were sleeping, but a lot of it kind of sheeted off the mountain overnight. Melted just enough to kind of lower that level a little, and now you are continuing to walk. There isn't as much ice as you were worried about, which is nice.
That's good.
You guys don't have, like, spiky ice boots or something. But you do continue to walk. And you're getting pretty close to where it is, when you feel the wind in the air kind of pick up very rapidly, like a very strong kind of gust of wind. And this wind seems to kind of... It's not strong enough to push you off a cliff, but it is strong enough to make you struggle to make headway for a little bit. And as you kind of duck your heads, keep just pushing through this kind of strong wind force, you hear something crack behind you.
Crack?
Crack. Like the ground cracking.
Alright.
And you watch, as, because of the wind, and because of the weight of the snow, this kind of overhang that you just walked under, the snow is so heavy and the wind is pushing so hard on it that it basically cracks, breaks off of the side of the mountain, and just, like, slides all the way down the path that you were just walking up. Which is a little terrifying.
Yeah.
You continue to walk, this wind is still very, very strong, and the path is getting significantly more narrow. There is a point on this path where things narrow to basically you're walking on the side of a cliff. And you just have to pray that you don't fall. It's just wide enough for one person at a time. Mateo is struggling a little.
Yeah.
And kind of walking almost sideways to make sure that he can kind of hold on to things. This path is not meant for someone his size.
No.
Or
his weight, probably.
No, the rest of you are managing okay. He's being very careful. At one point, Darian kind of guides him over an awkward part of the path. And you kind of get to this part where the path starts to level out. This kind of snow crunching, wind gusting, all sorts of noises have kind of accompanied you, which has almost been kind of nice because there was no noise anywhere else for so long when you were traveling. Uh, and as you kind of come to where this path levels out, you realize you're on a little bit of a plateau, this kind of much flatter surface. And across this plateau, you see these doors, these golden colored, amber colored doors set into the side of a mountain. These dark stone, maybe obsidian, pillars kind of rising out of the ground and holding up like a kind of an overhang that leads to those golden doors. You would assume you have found the temple.
This it?
I guess. It's about the only thing that'll look like this up here, I figure.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All of you walk toward the temple. And you feel almost the magic here. It radiates out from this temple. And as you walk across, you can kind of see the effect of very thick snow up here. And then you step over a boundary. It feels something kind of shifts in the air around you. And as you step, you realize this mountain doesn't have snow all over it. Not here. This plateau has the illusion of snow. And you're not 100% sure the whole mountain isn't a sensational illusion of snow.
Huh.
Because once you get to this space, it is not snowing. And in fact, the ground is dry and clear all the rest of the way to the Amber Temple. And you think either the snow is illusory, or the magic just repels it except for an illusion of it, once you get close enough.
Wild.
And you can feel the snow, you felt it, but that doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah.
This place can obviously play tricks with your mind. That said, the snow is gone, and if you look back, you can see the snow, but the Amber Temple's kind of magical radius has been crossed, and you assume Strahd cannot hurt you here, so you have made that accomplishment. You are now safe from Strahd until you leave.
Well, relative safety.
You don't know that he won't be waiting for you when you leave.
Oh, that would be a gut punch.
It sure would. I'll go write a note in my document real quick.
Wait, no.
Just kidding. Or am I? Anyway, you've made it to the Amber Temple. The doors, when you arrive, are pushed open just about wide enough for a person to walk through.
And we enter.
And you enter. Immediately upon entry into the Amber Temple, you see dark stone and more amber, kind of almost like stained glass windows, lining this main hall. There are several different hallways and staircases branching off from the room that you see when you enter. This is kind of like this big open space. There's a staircase that leads down into another big open space, and it has kind of like a big altar and almost like it's... This is kind of the main worship space, is kind of down on this lower platform, you figure. And this entranceway is just basically a balcony that leads to other hallways that might be useful. Down there, you think, is where people would have once worshipped. This room is huge, it's much bigger than you expected, and it's carved into the mountain, so there was no way you could have seen how big it was until you walked in. It is gorgeous. The kind of dark, smoky stone is what the entire floor is made out of, darker than the rest of the mountain. And like I said, there are these kind of amber-colored windows that don't lead out to anything. But despite that, and despite all the darkness of Barovia, they almost seem to still have light streaming through them.
Interesting.
This kind of golden glow, being tinted even more gold by the glass, the amber, and cascading down onto the kind of hallways in this main room. It is by far the most beautiful thing you've seen since you got to Barovia, and you're not sure you'll top it. The columns are made of stone, and they have these little, the same dark stone, but they have these little spots in it where there are little chunks of amber embedded into these pillars, and little kind of golden crystals, maybe citrine, or some kind of quartz, kind of spiking out of some of the pillars, just put in just enough to keep the structural integrity, but to have that color that just highlights the style of this temple.
Wow.
It is
It's
really beautiful.
gorgeous, yeah.
Holy shit! I've never seen anything like this before. This is awesome. Wow, this is way better than my dad said it was. He hyped it up, but not this much. I'm not sure you could hype it up this much. It's beautiful.
It really is just gorgeous.
I've been to a lot of beautiful places in my time, but not like this. This is very much something else. Seen a lot of places of worship, and they're never like this. This is a hell of a dedication. The Raven Queen, right? Yes. Her followers have great decoration taste.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I think you all kind of marvel at it for a minute as you just kind of stand in the entryway. And as you kind of look around, from what Colion described to you of the place, most of the stuff that might be of any use to someone is probably on the lower levels. And you can see kind of back across the very large open space, there are two hallways, kind of one on either side of the room, and there is, on the lower level of the space, the open space, there is one long hallway and then two small staircases, one on either side of the room. And those are the kind of 5 options you see to proceed from here. If you would like to start exploring. It's not really a dungeon. It's just a
No.
fun area. It's a little bit labyrinthine.
So, with that said,
Where are we going?
let's go. So what paths do lead down?
So for sure you can tell down are 2 staircases
Okay.
that seem to slope downward. The lower level also has a hallway that could turn into a staircase, and anything could theoretically lead down at some point, but the 2 immediate down paths are the 2 lower level staircases that are on either side of that one big hallway.
Um, I kind of actually, look at Arena. So, left or right?
Um, well, we took the left path in the fork to get us here, let's keep going left.
Then we'll go left.
Alright, you continue. You go down to this kind of altar worship space. There are no... It's not really like a chapel, it's not like a church, it's just there's this massive dedication here. It's a little abstract. The only notable feature that really distinctively tells you who this is for is the backdrop, this wall, has this amber, like this set in amber carving of a raven on either side of it. A raven with what you initially think is like a stick in its mouth, and as you look closer, you realize it is like a staff, like a magical staff. And so on either side of this long hallway and the entryway are these massive carvings of ravens. And actually, when you get down there, you can see kind of this little decorative border around the altar. Engraved in it are like small, like, you know how like people get like tattoos of flocks of birds?
Mhm.
It looks like that. It's that kind of pattern, like they look when they're up high in the sky flying together. Little flocks. Technically, the word is unkindnesses of ravens.
Ooh.
Is the term for a group of ravens. And the more likely one known is murder of crows, but ravens are an unkindness, which I think is a fun little detail.
Yes.
Uh, so there are several of those
Nice of
carved.
them. A kindness of ravens.
A kindness of ravens, yeah. There are several of those kind of carved into the stone of this border to the altar. And it looks kind of dusty. It's long since abandoned. No one has come here in a long time. No one has disturbed it in a long time. But the altar looks so beautiful that you would think almost that someone came to restore it still. It's the only place you've seen so far without a thin layer of dust. It's actually not dusty here. The floor stirs up a bit of dust as you walk. The kind of the walls you could wipe with your finger and see at least a little bit of a difference, but this altar is pristine. There is no structural damage, there is no dust, there is no smudging or any sign of wear. It is perfectly preserved.
Huh.
It's the only thing in here that you've seen that's that way. There are some kind of statues lining the upper hallways that look weather worn and cracked and aged. Nothing here looks like that. Just this one space. And you want to go down the left staircase. And
Yes.
you will do that. This is a very. It's kind of dark. For those of you who don't have dark vision, whoever's leading the party would need to light a torch for you to be able to see down here. There are no torches on the walls. And as you do that, you see kind of shadows cast down this very long, a little bit steep staircase as it gets deeper down. And this is definitely going down. It takes you down 60, 90, 100 feet. It's very deep, this staircase. Several rooms worth of depth, and you're not 100% sure where it's taking you. This room, the top room itself was a couple dozen feet tall, maybe 30 feet tall.
Okay.
This staircase takes you down 3 times that. You spend a while descending this.
All right.
Several minutes of just walking down these stairs, and when you get to the bottom, you see that, interestingly, the other staircase seems to kind of connect to this one via a long hallway, so it didn't really matter which one you picked, it would seem. They lead down into the same place. And in front of you there is another hallway that seems to be directly situated below the one that was where the staircases were above you. It is much thinner and smaller, but it is there. Would you like to continue?
Yes.
Alright, you...
Beautiful descriptions, by the way.
Thank you. I love the Amber Temple and I love describing it. I have such a clear vision of it in my mind. As you walk down this tunnel, the stone gets darker and darker as you continue. Just darker shades of the same kind of rock. And eventually you feel the texture at your feet change, and you see the shadows on the wall change. And you realize you are no longer walking on stone, but you are actually walking on, like, obsidian. Like volcanic glass. It's very thick. But it seems like the walls of this tunnel have changed from stone to being lined with this obsidian material. Which is beautiful. And it shines in a way that the stone does not. It shines in a little bit of a way that the amber does not. And once you continue down this hallway a little more, you see the same kind of amber and citrine chunks embedded in the walls, kind of spiking out a little, not far enough as to jab you, but just these tiny little crystals sticking out of the walls of the obsidian, reflecting the light of your torch into little prisms on the ground. And as you walk down this hallway, you find another set of amber doors, which are, interestingly to you, open, as if someone has walked through and not closed them.
Interesting.
Do you enter the room?
Yes.
You step through these open doors. Do you close them behind you?
No, if they're open already, no.
Okay. You open, or you step through the doors into an open space. This is surprisingly open, not nearly as much as the first room you entered, but it is an open space. There's actually a little staircase from these doors down into the room proper, and you see in this room, it kind of... It's like a rectangle here at the beginning, and it slopes back into almost a semicircle at the back half. And there are all of these alcoves that have these figures in them. These figures of humanoids, human bodies with ravens' heads. These little statues that are about humanoid height, really, sitting in these alcoves. And all of them seem to have inscriptions around them on the bottom. And as you enter this room, you see a faint shimmer in front of you, just before that semicircle would start. The shimmer of some kind of wall or force field, some kind of... You're not sure what it is if you can walk through it, but it's some sort of magical field that you would be walking into to go to read the inscriptions.
And we can't read them from...
No, not from where you are. They're like little, like, plaques carved under it. The one other thing you see, across this room, there is a center alcove that is missing a statue, and in its place you see a very, very old book, which has the appearance, at least, of the way the Tome of Strahd has been described to you. So that is what you see. You see these alcoves with the inscriptions and the statues, and in the very center across the room you see a much smaller alcove with that book sitting in it, kind of propped up against the back wall of it.
Anyone else a little weirded out by that barrier?
A little, yeah. My dad didn't mention it. Maybe he didn't come down here.
Well, that book might be what we need.
It's at least something we're looking for, it looks like.
I'll brave it myself.
Okay.
And Pruitt will approach.
So, this is where things get kind of fun. Pruitt, you step toward this barrier. You touch it, you reach out to it, and kind of push your hand through it experimentally. Your hand goes right through. It's not a wall, it's not a force field. Do you walk all the way through? It doesn't seem to have
Yes.
any negative effect. You get a little tingly. You walk through this barrier. Everything goes dark for a second. Pruitt, you see, kind of, as everything goes dark, you kind of find yourself lost in your own mind for a second. And what you see before you, funnily enough, is exactly what you asked for in the last session. You see your wife's face. In fact, you see your wife kind of standing across this space from you. This dark space. Everything around you is dark, and the only thing in this space is you and her. Yeah.
There is a notable pause.
Yeah. She kind of stares at you, doesn't say anything.
Does she register that he's there?
She doesn't seem to notice you, no. She seems like she's just kind of staring off into space, in your general direction. You're in front of her, but she doesn't seem to notice you.
This isn't real.
Without saying anything or really moving to focus on you, she steps aside, and you see kind of this beam of light starting to come, like this pillar of light behind her. And you see this light slowly starts to fill the space. Where it was dark before, it is now almost pure white. Like your vision is kind of fading out again. And as you see this, she kind of gestures an arm toward this light, where this light is coming from, where it started. And it seems like she's asking for you to walk toward it. Will you?
Yes.
You walk toward this light, and you find yourself engulfed in it, and for a moment, everything is white. It's all you can see. You can't see her anymore. It feels warm around you, this bright, warm light. And then you come to a vision. You see a room that you recognize. A room in your old home, where you and your wife and your daughter lived.
Alright.
This is kind of a sitting room that was upstairs on one of the upper floors of the house. Kind of in between your and your wife's room when you shared a room and your daughter's room once you, the room basically that you had planned for her when she would get older, that wasn't
Right.
a nursery right next to you. That room. It was in between those two, kind of just past the nursery. You find yourself standing in this kind of sitting room area, just a place to relax. You find yourself standing in the doorway of this room, and your wife and your daughter, who you instinctively know is her, and who looks strikingly similar to the girl you saw in your dream. They're sitting across from each other in this room, kind of. Both of them have little cups in their hands, maybe drinking tea together, or maybe one of them is and one of them isn't, or something like that. Drinking something seemingly just in the same space as each other. And your daughter looks up. She looks at your mother. Or your wife, sorry. Her mother. Your daughter looks at her mother, your wife, and kind of, again, they don't seem to register your presence, and says, "Do you think he'll ever come back?" She kind of sighs and, "You ask me that almost every day. I want to know almost every day. No, I don't. I don't think he'll come back." You always answer that. The answer is always the same. Do you want him to come back? I don't know anymore. I did. And then I didn't, and now I don't know. Do you miss him? Yes, but I don't know if I want him to come back. When he left, I was scared and sad and lonely. And then I was angry and bitter and almost vengeful. And I blamed him for the fact that you were suffering and alone. I don't blame him. He left us behind. I wish he'd come back. I know. But my answer remains the same, and I don't think he ever will. Are you sure? I'll never be sure. But you hold on to that. If you want him to come back, you can hold on to that. I won't stop you. I will never stop you from wanting to keep the people you love in your life. He didn't want to, but that doesn't mean you can.
Pruitt, not really sure that she'll register anything, does walk towards her and try to put a hand on her shoulder.
You can touch her in this space, but it doesn't seem like she registers your presence. It doesn't seem like she knows you're there. And you kind of get the sense this is a memory, though maybe not your own. And that was something you all had talked about, the idea of this place being connected to memories.
Yeah.
The Raven Queen's connection to that. And you get the sense, yeah, that this is something maybe they've experienced, something they might have actually talked about before. But you weren't there, and you won't be there in the memory either. Your wife kind of puts a hand on your daughter's shoulder, and you see, kind of as this happens, both of them have tears in their eyes. We will be happy again. Will we? We will, yes. Even if he doesn't come back, we will find a way to make ourselves happy again. Okay? Promise? I promise. I miss him. I miss him too. Pruitt, this vision ends, and your vision fades to white, and then to dark, and then you are standing on the other side of the barrier.
As it fades, I frantically try to hold on to her.
You hold on to her, and you feel the fabric of the blouse she was wearing. And you feel that feeling start to kind of fade beneath your fingers. And you hold on very, very tightly. Tightly enough that you think you almost feel it rip. As if something tears because you're clinging to it and it's being pulled so hard away. And the one other thing I will say is when your vision fades back into the other side of that barrier, you're holding a small scrap of fabric in your hand. The same color as what she was wearing.
I think, without even realizing that he is doing it, he is on his knees and crying.
One thing I want to note at this point, when he crossed through the barrier, he disappeared. None of you could see him. And you still can't see him. But you can see them on the other side of the room, Pruitt.
Pruitt? Oxford calls out.
You can hear them, but you're not sure if they'll hear you.
Yeah, I'm right here, I'm alright.
None of you hear him.
Alright. Can he throw a coin through the barrier the other way?
You can try, yeah.
Yeah, he'd like to try that.
Yeah, okay. You throw this coin through the barrier. You can see it land on the other side. And in fact, everyone else can see it land on the other side, but they can't see where it came from and they couldn't see it be thrown. They could only see it once it passed that wall.
Is it reasonable to assume we'd figure out that it was an attempt to communicate?
Yes.
Cool.
I think you can infer that, yes. Something or someone, at least, is on the other side of that wall trying to communicate with you. You don't know if it's him or not, but you could assume.
Yeah. Well, the sooner I get out of here, the better.
Alright.
So I
Are
think
you gonna walk back through or take the tone?
Going to try to go for the tone.
Alright. You can do that. You can go to the alcove and pick it up.
Does it look like what we're looking for?
It does, yes. And if you open it and read the first couple of lines, it seems exactly like what you were expecting. A glorified diary. But you're not sure if there's nothing useful to be found in it.
Alright. Maybe not stop and read the whole thing here, but...
No. But it seems like there might be something of use somewhere in it, you get the sense.
What do these other plaques say, out of curiosity?
All of them seem to offer a reward with a consequence. They don't actually specify which, or what those things are. They give vague descriptions. One of them says strength, one of them says confidence, one of them says luck, one of them says magic. It's stuff like that, but it's not specific.
That seems a bit too risky for my blood.
That's fair. There are 6, 3 on either side, notably, if that matters to you.
With that being said, I have the tome, and I don't really want to risk the, all this.
Yeah.
I guess I'll walk out.
Okay. You walk out, and the rest of you see him emerge from the space.
You okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
You You see anything weird? You got the thing, huh?
Yes, I have the tome, and that's what matters. Wouldn't recommend going in there, though there are the plaques. They say, was it magic, luck,
Yeah.
strength,
Confidence. The other two are love and hope.
confidence, love, and hope. Any idea what that means? Not a clue.
You just remember that they say you can get something related to that at a cost. You're not sure what the cost is.
Yeah, there's a cost, but I don't know what that cost is, and I don't really want to pay it. So, shall we head out? I'm admittedly curious.
Who?
Oxford.
Yeah. I mean, you are a woman of knowledge. You enjoy knowing things.
Oh. It's not dangerous?
It's just depressing.
Depends on your mental health. I consider myself fairly mentally sound. Oxford will enter.
Alright, okay. Oxford, you experience the same darkness, immediately upon stepping through the space. As you enter, you do not immediately see anyone in this space, as a contrast to what Pruitt saw, that he saw his wife waiting for him. You do not immediately see anyone sitting there, but you do see this beam of light kind of form around you, and it seems like the only way to go is forward and through it.
Then I will go forward and through it.
When you walk through the light, you also begin to find yourself seeing things that you know kind of instinctively are not real is the wrong word, but you know they're not happening around you right now. The first thing you see is not dissimilar to what you saw in your dream. Your room in the compound is where you find yourself at first.
Alright.
And actually, again, you hear a knock on your door.
I will answer it.
You answer the door. When you open the door, there is no one there. Just the hallway.
Huh.
But as you move to the door, the hallway, as you open it, the door to the hallway, it starts to shift. And you find yourself standing in front of not just a blank wall, but a mirror. And this mirror shows your reflection in it, as a mirror does. You look younger.
How much younger?
Decades. You look like a young woman. You don't really remember much from that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you don't really remember anything from that long ago.
Basically, all I remember that I've said is well-educated. Yeah.
You don't remember much except for the fact that you learned a lot during that period of your life, and in fact, your appearance seems to reflect that. You have your spellbook, which you've had for a very long time, at your side. Or maybe an old version of your spellbook. You have that kind of strapped to your hip. You have robes on, kind of somewhere between a caster's robe and almost a uniform for the school that you attended, the School of Wizardry. Around you, everything it's still this hallway, but it feels so different. It feels like you don't belong here right now. You feel apprehensive and almost wrong being in this space. It feels like it isn't meant for you right now. And you feel nervous.
And that's my reflection, yeah?
Yeah, it's your reflection in the mirror.
If I look at my hands or hair, do they look younger? Interesting.
Yes, they do. If you pull your hair in front of your face, it looks like you did when you were younger.
So yeah, my hair that's grayed a bit looks totally, fully blonde.
Yes, it does. And then you hear a voice down the hallway. We gotta get going.
I turn my head to look.
You see a man a little older than you, not notably older, but maybe if you're in early 20s, maybe late 20s, maybe early 30s. There's not a ton of difference for a lot of people. He kind of motions for you to follow him, and he's standing there impatiently, almost like tapping his foot impatiently, kind of gestures. Come on. Today's the day.
I'm sorry?
Did you forget when you were scheduled for it?
My head is a bit out of it right now.
Ugh, God. They did too much again, didn't they? Just come on, yeah?
Alright.
They pushed you too hard yesterday?
I don't remember.
Then I guess that's a yes. Come on. You follow him?
Yes.
He leads you to a room. Not terribly dissimilar from ones you have seen before.
Alright.
You know the general idea of what rooms like this are for. You've seen them. They're never you've really personally been in them, but they treat themselves not dissimilarly from the kinds of rooms that you used to work in.
Right.
And there is a table, kind of like a medical table, in the center of this room. It is very stark white. It is very, very clinical looking. And there are some tools and a small, like, needle set on a little tray on a stand in this room. And he gestures for you to get on the table.
I'm sorry, what is going on?
You really forgot all that? It is Initiation Day, as they call it. This is where you go from someone who has an idea of what they're doing to someone who knows exactly what they're supposed to do.
I see. How old am I?
In this, are you asking him?
Yes.
Your file says 22. Do you not remember how old you are?
As I said, my brain is in a difficult place. Can I see my file?
Sure. If you want, I guess. It's not gonna matter. He hands you this kind of stack of papers. What are you looking for in the file?
I just want to see what it says. I've never seen my own file.
Yeah. He hands it over to you. It's pretty standard information. It has kind of physical characteristics. It has a physical kind of a workup of you. It seems like a kind of a medical workup, at least the first couple pages. You try to turn a page and he says no. You only get those. That
Sorry.
back stuff is personal notes. The only thing you see as you turn the page, there's no identification on the front page, or the second page that has more medical records. The only thing you see when you pull down the corner of the top page, the third page that he doesn't let you see, is a name that you don't recognize.
What name?
Emily Redrock. Good. They'll be here in a sec. Although I'm gonna have to talk to them about how much your head is messed up right now. It might be better to put this off a couple days.
Who is Emily?
What do you mean, who is Emily? That's you. It won't be for long though. We're gonna have to give you a new alias.
A new alias.
This process is complicated, and we don't want you to be easy to track. So, new name on file.
What?
Oxford. Go ahead,
She
get on.
tries as much as possible to keep any form of composure.
It is much harder than you're used to.
Yeah.
You feel instinctively scared and concerned and stressed. And as he kind of takes the file back out of your hands and places it on the tray, another woman walks in, maybe in her 40s. Her hair is actually also starting to gray. And she kind of just... You're not on the table yet. Lay down.
Sorry, yes.
You lay down on the table. Really without much hesitation, she pulls on gloves. Medical gloves, technically, although they look a little different in this setting. And picks up a syringe, the needle from the table, from the tray. Hey, she's, what? Her head's weird, her head's fuzzy. I don't care. We need to get this done. Is that safe? It's not like I'm anesthesiizing her. Relax. It's a simple fucking procedure. Let me do my job, yeah? Alright. She walks over to you. This will sting, but only for a second, okay? I mean that. It's not just like when doctors say it to kids.
Alright.
Are you ready? This is a big change.
What is it going to change?
Everything. She does not wait, and she injects the syringe into your neck. Just kind of here at the base of your skull. Your vision ends, and you come back. You're having so much fun right now.
So, she very quickly, when she's returned, writes in any sort of paper she has, Emily Redrock.
Yeah.
And just notes that for later.
Yeah. You walk back out? Do you want to look at any of the
Yes,
plaques?
I want to look at the plaques.
Okay. So I will read them off to you again. They are magic, love, strength, confidence, luck, and hope. There's 6 of them. And obviously the space where the tome was is empty now.
And I have no idea how to,
Activate them, or?
No, glean what they do without activating them?
It doesn't seem like it, but you're not sure they wouldn't tell you if you touch them, just... You don't know if it'll activate, if you'll have to confirm something.
I'll touch luck.
Alright, you'll touch luck? Okay. You touch the statue for luck, and you hear a voice in your head. You have chosen luck. Do you understand what this entails?
No.
Would you like to?
Yes.
As with any gain in life, there is also a loss. Everything in the world that we experience is transactional. Everything comes with a cost, but most things with a cost come with a good consequence, some kind of net positive. At least that's what people say. If you would like to gain more luck, you will have to give something up first.
And what is that?
Luck is a powerful thing. It can change the tide of any kind of experience that you have in the world. It can enable you to do incredible things, but that comes with a cost. And that cost, in this case, is that for as much good luck as you obtain, someone else in the world will have some sort of negative effect applied to them. Every time you use the luck granted to you for a purpose for yourself, someone somewhere faces, not perhaps to the same degree, but some sort of negative effect.
Will I know who?
You may get a glimpse of it if it's not someone you know, but you only know what happens to them if you use it for yourself.
I want to find out what the rest of these mean.
Go ahead. Which one would you like to touch next?
Oh, magic.
Okay. You touch magic. Basically the same kind of spiel is given. I'm not going to run all of it through because I find it boring. Hope that's okay, listeners. What this trade is, from what you can understand, limited use of higher level spells in exchange for some sort of mechanically stat reduction.
Okay.
Stat reduction or some other kind of strength reduction in some way. Something that kind of counterbalances the use of that magic.
Alright, I would touch strength next.
Okay. Strength is basically the same thing, but in the opposite direction. It gives you some kind of boost to your strength. You're not 100% sure if that's a magic weapon or if it just makes you physically stronger. But the drawback is some sort of other stat reduction or some sort of other thing that makes you weaker in another aspect.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what are the other 3?
Love, confidence, and hope.
I'll touch love.
Okay. When you touch love, you feel a little bit weirder than you did when you touched the other ones. The other ones are kind of mechanical in nature, and this one has a little more of an emotional feel to it. You're not quite sure how to feel about that because you don't really get that very often. But what it says when you touch it is, basically, this will restore something you love to you at a cost of losing something else. And it doesn't really specify beyond that.
Interesting.
The cost of losing something else important to you.
Confidence.
Confidence functionally is a charisma buff. And you imagine from how it describes it, what it would reduce is your ability to kind of manage when that confidence is used, which would basically be like a personality flaw.
Huh.
It would come at a cost of you will be able to use this at the right time. It will also, by random nature, happen at the wrong time sometimes.
And hope?
When you touch Hope, again, you feel the same kind of weird stir in it, in your chest as you touch this one. And what you get from this one is you will, in kind of a similar way, it works kind of similarly to divine intervention, you figure. Where once every time period, it doesn't specify what, you will be able to potentially will something into existence by hoping for it strongly enough. And the drawback to that is that basically whatever you will into existence has some kind of alternative negative consequence.
Huh.
Like it has a drawback that you wouldn't know about by wishing it.
Well, this all seems a bit monkey's paw for me.
It does, yeah, it's a little bit monkey's paw.
But I do want to do something.
Okay, what would you like to do?
I would like to leave.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not all I want to do.
No, I understand. You can walk back out freely.
I want to talk to them, everyone
Okay.
here.
And tell them what they do.
Yes, I want to recite what they do, and I want to say I think it pertinent. It is whatever this is. It is giving us information that is relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's pertinent and important to go through it. All of us.
Okay. So, with that said, do the rest of you want to go through?
If we're asked to, yeah, I guess.
Alright, you can do that.
Sure. Let's go with Zurel.
Alright, Zurel. Hi. Picking you up and putting you on the other side of this little wall. You walk through, you experience the same dark to light to vision. Actually, though, someone does escort you through, and it is the figure of your spirit. The body that you're kind of, it looks like a version of your body, which is kind of how your spirit appears to you, but kind of glowy and shiny. You would assume it is just her, but she doesn't say anything to you in the same way that Pruitt didn't have anything said to him.
I guess I will go.
Alright. You walk through, and you find yourself in a body you recognize that isn't quite yours. You find your features kind of resemble what you have now, but slightly different.
Okay.
As they were, if that, you know.
Yes. So blonde and a bit.
Yes. You look very similar, but with natural colored hair and eyes mostly.
Yeah, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
A bit, a bit, thinner and a bit,
Yeah.
or not a bit thinner, a bit less thin and a bit, taller, I think.
Yes. And as you walk through, you find yourself with a sword in your hand, the sword that you're used to holding, your rapier, and you are standing in what looks like a kind of a standard house. You're holding your sword, and it seems like this figure, whoever, like you or whoever this is getting ready to go out somewhere. You find yourself kind of in the middle of slinging a bag over your shoulder.
Okay.
And you also see, as this is happening, someone coming down the stairs of kind of a side room of this house. You're kind of in the main room leading out the front door. And you see this man, kind of young man, coming down the stairs. He kind of waves at you. And the first thing you hear him say is, "Hey, baby. You going out?"
Yes.
Good luck, I guess. You go out a lot lately.
I'm sorry?
It's alright. I know it's your thing more than it's mine. You, just be careful, yeah?
I'll be careful.
Good. I worry about you when you're out there. I mean, I know your mom used to do this a lot, but I know you used to worry about her, so you told me, and now it's my turn to worry about you.
I guess that's fair.
Just be careful, yeah? Where are you going?
Do I have any idea?
No.
I think I might try the Underdark.
Are you sure? That's kind of risky. Going down there alone?
I'll be safe.
Promise?
Yes,
Are you nervous? You excited? You seem a little nervous.
I am a little nervous, but I'll be alright.
Okay. Be careful, yeah?
You too.
I'll just be right here. I'll wait. And you're good at this, and you're tough, and you're brave, so I know you'll come back.
I will.
He kind of walks over to you and squeezes your hand and then opens the door for you.
I will go.
That's all you see. You're on the other side of the barrier.
I say in my head, did you experience anything?
It felt weird. You know how I feel like attached to the plane?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it know what it felt like for you now I felt attached to something else.
What did you feel attached to?
I know what you were. It felt like that.
Oh,
It felt like it was all smushed together, everyone, all of that. It was weird, it's hard to explain.
oh,
I just felt painfully connected. Frighteningly so, and yet it felt, I don't know, it felt fine and also terrifying. It was weird. I'd rather not do it again.
I would also rather not do it again.
What did you see?
You'd rather not hear about it.
Well, I told you.
Your boyfriend.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that'd do it, huh? Fuck. I'm sorry, that's kind of awkward. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, I guess we made it. Fucking. Want to touch any of these things?
I look at the, it's the one that love.
Yeah.
I wouldn't begrudge you.
How's it work again? Brings something back to you?
Yeah, bring something that you love back, but take something you love away.
What do you think I should bring back?
Your form?
I kinda got it, I'm kinda stuck in it. Is the thing. Plus, what does that take, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know that's. I just don't know if that's worth the risk. You know?
Yeah. I feel the same way. I don't.
Plus, it might be you touching it, so, like, I don't know if it would do it for you or me.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch it?
Too risky for my blood.
Anything else?
I think I'm alright.
Okay. May as well get back then, yeah?
Yeah.
You walk back through. Anybody else want to take a
Yeah,
fun
I
ride
mean,
on the sad memory
we
train?
were all told to, so
Yeah.
let's see. Pride.
Alright. This one's gonna be fun. Pride. You find yourself inside a building that you vaguely recognize as a building from your order. You find yourself kind of walking through a less appealing part of the space. Uh, you're in a hallway that's generally reserved for. I don't want to say punishment, but it's for punishment.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The order that you were part of, as you know, was very, very strict and had very harsh punishments for breaking certain kinds of rules.
Yes.
And you are in that section of the building.
Like I'm about to be punished?
No, you're just standing in the hallways. No one's there with you. You can hear, however, someone in one of the little spaces down the hall. You can hear basically like banging on the doors. They have sort of windows in them, they're shatterproof. But you can hear like someone like pulling on the like bars of the door handle and stuff.
I'm not allowed to open them.
No, you're not. But that doesn't mean you can't look through the window.
I'll look through the window.
You're tall enough, barely. You see in this room someone you don't recognize. A kind of dark purple skinned tiefling girl whose horns have only just started to grow in.
Okay.
And she is like vigorously yanking at the door handle and seems both angry and scared.
I'm taken aback because tiefling.
Yeah. You've never seen this person before? They also look like as young as you were when you started at the order. They look like a kid.
But according to my training, if they're a tiefling, they deserve this.
Yeah, that is true. Uh, and they kind of scream. You hear them scream through the door in frustration, and she kind of, she kind of like shakes the door handle one more time, kind of the surrounded cage of the door handle, even that you know is in those rooms, and just keeps screaming, screams her voice until it like basically shoots itself out for a second, and then she kind of goes and sits back in the back of the room. There's no bed here, there's no anything comfortable. She's just sitting on the stone floor of this room. And she kind of glimpses you looking in through the window. She tries to scream. It seems like she's been screaming for long enough that her voice has basically gone out, and you don't hear anything.
I I just watch.
She kind of looks up at you. You know, she's much smaller than you are. She wouldn't be able to see you if she stood at the door itself, but from back in the back of the room, she can see you. And she kind of makes a, like, kind of a desperate, like, yanking a door handle motion, like trying to get you to open it for her.
I do not.
Yeah.
I watch.
You see, as she kind of realizes that you're not going to help her, she just kind of curls up, like, pulls her knees close to her chest, and just, like, you can't quite hear it as loud as you would normally if the door was open, but you can tell kind of from what little noise you can hear from the room and from how she's shaking that she's crying.
It's extremely hard not to
Yeah, not to open the door.
not to even just to not react.
Yeah,
React.
yeah. Do you?
I need to make a wisdom save.
I was actually about to ask you to do that, yeah. I'd like you to make a wisdom save for me. You have a +2.
20.
You do not find yourself reacting. You kind of feel a wince of sympathy in your chest, but you don't react. They don't look up at you anymore. She just kind of sits there crying.
I turn away.
Your vision fades, and you're back in the room. Well, that fucking sucked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That was horrible.
That was terrible. That was awful. I hated every second of that. So, that leaves you in that room with all the cool stuff that you can theoretically take or not take, depending on whether you want any.
Well, I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think a lot of it's too risky.
A lot of it is. In fact, all of it is very risky. It's not like you have to take it, it's just there if you want it.
Like, it's cool to take, and I want the viewers to see what you built, but
No,
also.
I don't care. I super don't care, and it's fine if you don't take it.
Alright. So that is 4 of us, right?
Yes. Is that? Yes. It's Ruby and Terry who haven't gone yet.
Ruby will volunteer.
Alright. Hi, Ruby. You're gonna scuttle on in there.
Yes, I am.
You walk through.
Yes.
The You walk through, you see the darkness that leads into the light. The one thing you note is that it's not necessarily someone you recognize, but there is someone who looks like a demon or a devil, some kind of hell dweller, that kind of ushers for you to step through. And as I assume you walk through to the light.
Yes.
As you walk past him, you see a spider on his hand.
Huh.
And then you continue walking through the light.
Alright.
In this space, what this opens into is this kind of in-between space that you know is... Obviously, there are different planes, different places of existence for all the pantheons, and they all kind of have their own places. Obviously, Asmodeus has his own spot in the Hells. Different pantheons have different places, different demi-planes and such that they can access normally, unless they bring someone with them. You find yourself in a space that's kind of in between that. It's supposed to be a neutral ground, normally. Uh, where if a conversation needs to happen, it can be had without violence, and if there is violence, there are terrible repercussions for anyone involved. Uh, you're in this space, and your father is in this space. No one else is here immediately, but he also doesn't seem to pick up on your presence. And he is kind of sitting on this appropriately sized chair. Just a kind of a casual wooden chair, and he has his head in his hands like he's very, very stressed. Uh, and it is at this point that you see your mother walk into this space, kind of appear in this space.
They, as far as I know, they don't talk, which is
No, they
throwing
don't.
me.
Yeah. You are exhausting, she says to him, is the first thing that either of them say. You are equally so. You know I didn't want this. No, neither did I. But here we are, this is what we have. And that leaves us with a lot of questions. It only leaves me with one. Go ahead then. Who's keeping? Do you want to? Are you giving me the option? I'm asking. No, I don't. Then I guess I will. Whoever takes her, she's useful. So I may as well, if you're gonna give that up. We don't have to fight over it, I'm going to take it immediately. That's my best option. Go ahead. All yours. And if she comes to you, then she comes to me. What will you do? I don't know yet, but it isn't my problem right now, is it? No, it's not. You hear, in the background, the sound of someone crying. That's your problem now, you get to go deal with that.
Like a baby crying?
Yes.
Or, okay, cool.
That's your problem now. Go ahead. You don't need to stay any longer. I'll be taking her and leaving. Go ahead. He steps basically out of the frame of this vision, and you hear just one loud wail, and then you hear him kind of, the sound of what you would assume is him reaching and picking up this baby. And as your mother fades from this space, he kind of turns to make sure she's not there, and then makes a very quiet shushing noise. And then your vision ends and you come back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, the loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Would I get to hear the offer of what it would take?
You're not sure, but in theory, you have to ask for it, and then you're not sure if it'll give you an offer of what it would take or not, but you can give it a shot.
Oh, I'm scared it'll just give it to me.
You can ask if it'll tell you.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will ask.
You go touch it?
Yes, she asks.
She asks you what you want. The voice.
What I want is my children.
Your children. Give me one moment, please. And you are kind of left in this space, your hand touching this pedestal, this statue. The voice does not return for several moments. Actually, a couple of minutes pass. As these minutes pass, you get a little worried that this is taking this long. And then you hear in your head, I have done what I can.
What does that mean?
There are reasons that your children disappeared.
Yes.
Do you know what those reasons are?
No.
Neither do I. That is apparently outside of my jurisdiction. Someone more powerful than I has laid claim. I cannot remove them.
Understood.
I'm sorry. I won't take anything. But I'm sorry that I can't give you what you want.
That's all right.
Is there anything else you would like?
No.
Good luck. And the voice fades.
And I will leave.
That
Wait, no, I
sucks.
won't.
Oh no? You want to do something else?
Yes, before I head back out, I say, okay, Dad, if you want to taunt me before I leave about how you helped me, feel free. This is your opportunity.
You kind of pause for a moment, wait for a response, I imagine. And you don't hear anything necessarily. You feel not uncomfortable warmth, but warmth. Uh, and you feel kind of this whole body energy kind of surrounding you. You've felt this sort of thing vaguely before when you kind of use your demigod powers, especially when you are in close proximity to something related to those powers, like a shrine, or especially when you've been close to your father or your mother. You have felt this feeling then too, which you assume indicates that he's somewhere nearby, in the
Yes.
same space as you. And the only thing that happens is in that little alcove where the tome was. It's about big enough. It's definitely bigger than enough space for the tome. It's a big enough space for the statues. There could have been another one there feasibly. Um, and in that space, you see what looks like a basket appear.
A basket?
A basket. Yes.
Alright, I go towards the basket.
Yeah, would you like to look into it?
Yes.
Yeah, you go toward the basket. Uh, you look into it.
Yes.
As you kind of pull back the blanket, the kind of tarp blanket thing folded over this basket, you see two children, two infant children, who are not making any noise, but who you recognize as your own. Nothing else happens.
I would like to pick up the basket.
You may do that. Will you carry it out with you?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone else, Ruby returns with a basket that has two infants in it. How are we feeling about that?
What the hell did you trade? Oxford asks. Nothing. I spoke to my father. I spoke at my father.
You didn't like get a response, you just got like two children randomly?
This is my son and my daughter.
Oh. Uh, congrats, that was really fast.
They're small, they're barely 3. Or they're almost 3.
They look smaller than that, for the record. They look like they're still, like, babies.
Though they look younger. Huh. They disappeared, and I'd always assumed one of my parents took them.
That seems like kind of a giveaway, like, on who did that.
Yes, and I was right, it would seem.
Well, unless, like, your dad, like, pulled them from somewhere else, like out of a hat or something, like a magic trick,
Yes.
then yeah, I guess you know who had them.
They are Wren and Hawk, respectively, are their names.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
They're twins.
Hi, babies. She kind of peeks into the basket and waves at them.
Would you like to hold them?
Can I?
Yes.
She looks absolutely thrilled at the prospect, and is very, very careful to hold them both. At different times, she doesn't try to
Yes.
pick both of them up.
Whatever one she isn't holding, I hold the other.
Yeah. She kind of like makes like little baby cooing noises at them, and they seem surprisingly receptive to that. When you have the boy, when she holds the boy, he kind of reaches up with the little movement that he can have. He's a little bit swaddled, but he kind of reaches up his little grabby hands and kind of bats at her, and she is very, very happy about it and smiles very wide.
Yeah. And with that said, Terry.
Alright,
Okay. Yeah, I will. My turn.
your turn. Yeah, very
Oh,
fun.
also, real quick, I do get a little twinge of panic of, oh God, how are we getting them out of here? How are
Yeah.
we managing them in Barovia?
Yeah, you did do that, didn't you?
Any ideas?
I guess we're gonna have to be. Maybe you should ask your dad again. Ask your dad. See if he has any thoughts.
Dad?
You don't get any response.
Okay, I didn't think that would work for a third time.
No, unfortunately, it does not.
I'd like to say I don't think. I'd like to say I think Strahd is past hurting babies, but I don't.
I don't either. Yeah, I'm not sold on that one. We may have to like try to get them somewhere safe before we do any more stuff.
We'll. Yes, we'll try that. Safe as a relative.
Yeah. But like we could take them back to my dad maybe. It just is kind of out of our way. I don't know. He'd watch them.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we'll get really lucky and like the looping path stuff will just teleport us there instead. Who knows?
Yes. Alright.
But yeah, Terry, it's your turn.
Yep, alright, I'm gonna walk through.
Alright, you walk through. Terry, when you walk through, you find no one waiting in this space for you. And when you walk through the darkness into the light, you find a room full of what look to be coffins.
Alright.
Which is not a great place to start this. You find yourself standing in a room full of coffins. And do you inspect them at all? There's no one in here with you, do you?
I think I know who they're for, but.
Yeah, you probably do. There's several kind of lined up next to each other.
I take a look anyway.
These are. These are. They all have, like, names engraved on the top. And all of these names are names that you recognize, as you might expect. They are all names of old forms.
Of mine.
Yes,
Yes.
of your old forms.
Okay.
All of the names of people that you have embodied in the past are listed on each coffin in this room. Do you open any of them?
It's kind of morbid.
It is a little, yeah.
That's kind of morbid, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I just wanted to ask to
Not
make sure.
particularly, no.
Okay, that's fair. There is one coffin at the end that doesn't have a name on it, though.
Okay.
They go in order, and this one doesn't have a name on it.
Is my most recent name before Terry?
No.
Okay.
So you assume that person is still alive.
And also Terry isn't.
No, Terry is not on
That
there.
would be a surprise.
That would be very confusing. So no, that name is not there, so that person is probably alive. And you are alive. But there is a coffin that doesn't have a name on it yet.
Okay. Is it open?
No, it's closed.
I'll open it.
You want to open it?
Yeah.
In this coffin, you don't see a body. You don't see anything. It's empty. But as you look into it, you realize the kind of shine of the fabric inside this coffin allows you to see your own reflection. It's very shiny, kind of internal lining of this coffin. And when you look at your reflection, you see your form, the one you're in right now, and every other form you've ever taken kind of standing behind you.
Okay.
And if you turn, do you turn?
Yeah,
They're
I
not there.
do.
No
Okay.
one is actually behind you. You just see all of these forms reflected there. You're not sure what this is that's going on here.
Yeah.
This is a little different from the other ones. Um, but yeah, there is no one in this coffin. You are not in this coffin, you know, there's no name on it. Um, and you kind of look back again, uh, and when you look back into this coffin, just kind of drawn to looking at it one more time. The first time you looked, you saw all of those forms, including the one that you had last been in. Uh,
Yes.
this time when you look, you only see her.
Only the form I had last been in.
Yes. You only see her, not even yourself.
I get chills from that.
Yeah. And you kind of feel yourself, kind of almost against your will. Your form closes the coffin and starts to walk up the kind of the stairs that are on the side of this room. This is a very small crypt, it would seem. And this form walks up these stairs, kind of walks out into a kind of higher level of whatever building this is in, and looks at.
And I am definitively not in any control.
No, you're not in control of this right now. Looks at. What is the. A figure that you recognize as that form's daughter. Your daughter when you were in that form. Valerie.
Yes.
And you hear her say, "All done for now?" You hear your former form's voice say, "For now, yes." "All in place?" "Yes." "I guess it's good we have a dedication to it now." "Yes, we do." Your vision ends. And unless you have anything really important you want to tack on, we should call the session there.
Yeah, I think that is. I don't think she takes anything else. She is very upset by this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be.
That'll be the session. Thanks for coming, everybody. This was a bad one. This one was rough.
It was a very good session.
Yeah.
Just a bad one.
Alright. Thank you guys for coming. We've batch recorded so much stuff. We love you. Take care of yourselves, because, this is rough.
Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.